What's up, everybody? Super fan here from Mustang Weekly Update number 13 on this Friday. So, what's new with the Mustang? Well, I'm just sitting here at a red light, and sorry about all the rain noise. It's raining now. Crazy Pittsburgh weather. It was like pouring snow earlier this week, and now it's raining, so it is what it is. I think it's going to get cold again tomorrow, so this is just a temporary warmness that's allowing it to rain. But anyway, so that's the big thing update this week with the Mustang is the weather. The weather, this car has really impressed me. So, it's been kind of a mixed bag because I've had two opposite experiences this week. The first is that there was a lot of snow and I was able to drive through it. I mean, totally snow-covered roads. I was able to get home fine. This car does a really good job in the snow mode, on normal roads. Driving in the snow, it's totally fine, and it just really blew me away. I mean, even some pretty bad conditions that most people weren't even out driving. I was able to be driving around in this fine, no problem. But there's a caveat, because it's really good until the snow gets really deep. I mean, obviously every car has limits, and you're limited by, of course, especially with the Mustang, its ground clearance, which became an issue later on this week. So, first part of the week was fine, drove through the snow totally well, and then the following day, I went out to try and film a snowdrift video because, I know you guys really loved the one that I did. I did two of them in the BRZ last year, and I know a lot of you have been asking for a Mustang snowdrift video, so I was going to go out to film that. I found a nice deserted parking lot. What I didn't realize, though, is that the snow had gotten deeper than I realized the car was able to handle. So the snow actually was so deep that as I drove into this abandoned parking lot, the car was driving fine and it was okay. It was pretty deep, but it was alright. And then it got stuck. And it was because there wasn't enough ground clearance, and so the car actually got wedged up onto this mound of snow, and so the wheels weren't getting enough traction to propel themselves out of the snow. So I had to I was only stuck for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but I had to dig underneath the car and get all the snow cleared away so the car was actually sitting on its wheels and not on the snow. And once that happened, I just had to rock it back and forth. I don't know if any of you have been stuck in the snow before, but you just go back and forth from reverse to first, back and forth, and rock it and get momentum until you slowly, are able to get out of there. And so the best way to get out, at least in this car and most cars, is to completely turn off traction control completely, because you put it in snow mode, and even in snow mode, it'll still try and cut the power back. But, you need it to get grip and to just keep spinning until it finds traction, because you will eventually, cut through the snow and get to, some hard pavement. So basically, turned off traction control, spun the wheels, and unfortunately it wasn't filming because it might have still been entertaining to watch, but I was just focused on trying to get out because I didn't want to be stuck. So I basically, was able to rock it and then turned off the traction control and basically did a burnout in the snow for about maybe 2 solid minutes actually, until it finally gripped and was able to go. And then it was just spinning really intensely, forward and just spinning the wheels, and I was at 4,000 RPMs just gunning it through the snow, and it was spinning and spinning and going 3 miles an hour, and it's slowly getting out, and then finally got out, and it was all good. So again, credit these awesome snow tires, and also the fact that this car, once it was actually had the tires on the ground, was actually able to find traction even in really deep snow and push its way out. So but yeah, just, if the snow looks like it's going to get up to the bottom of the car, probably not a good idea to drive in. Not the best idea on my part, but I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a try. It was near home, so if I would have gotten stuck, it would have been the end of the world. But luckily, I was able to get the car out all on my own, and I didn't have any issues there, aside from just being stuck for 15 or 20 minutes. So what I learned from all that stuff this week is, although this car is obviously very, very good, like any car, it's not invincible. It's not completely, it'll still get stuck if, you put it in a challenging enough situation. So I found those limits this week, and that's totally fine. But I mean, it's, obviously still does so well in the snow. I'm so happy with it. And in conditions like the ones I got stuck in, honestly, anything outside of an SUV probably would have gotten stuck just because they don't have enough ground clearance there. And so, because there was actually a time where I got stuck in my Legacy GT way back when with snow tires and everything, just because the snow was simply too deep. And so you can only do so much, but yeah, I mean, so, I know a lot of you continue to ask about more snow impressions, so I'm giving you every week here all my thoughts on how this car goes in the snow. So as long as you stay out of really deep snow, I would say less than 5 inches, you'll be fine. Any more than that, and like I said, it gets pretty tough simply just because of the ground clearance issues and things like that. But it does so well in the snow. It's such a great car. So anyway, with all that said, I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the first thing is a surprise to me and a lot of other people, I think, and that is that the new Lamborghini Aventador SV was spotted out filming a commercial, completely undisguised, just, hey, we're driving around making a commercial of the new car, which I'm assuming will be coming out of Geneva if they're already filming a commercial for it now. And yeah, it looks amazing. Obviously, it has a huge rear wing. The front bumper and the rear bumper have been reworked, and this is the real deal. It even has an SV badge there on the rocker panel, new wheels, and carbon fiber bits all over the place on the air intakes on the back and everything. So it looks very cool. Looks every bit like an SV should. I'm just confused by the timeline, because with the Lamborghini Murcielago, the car debuted in 2001, and the SV version didn't come till 8 years later in 2009. So, for this, the Aventador only came out in 2011 as a 2012 model. So for it to only be 2015, a 2016 model year car is only basically 4 years after. So, it just seems really soon. Unless maybe Lamborghini has deeper pockets now and they'll be coming out with a new V12 supercar every 6 or 7 years instead of every 10 years. Maybe they're able to just do it a lot quicker. But what I was expecting was a new version of the Aventador, an LP740, kind of how there was the Murcielago, and then there was the LP640 Murcielago, which was slightly tweaked styling, it's a little bit faster. That's what I was expecting as far as Aventadors goes, a new LP740 or 7 whatever, but a faster Aventador. So to come out with the top dog SV already is a bit of a shock to me. Maybe they'll do another SV with the revised Aventador, down the road or something. I don't know. But here it is, and I'm glad it's here, though. I'm not complaining. It looks awesome. It's just a lot sooner than I was expecting. Another car that threw us a curveball this week is McLaren. You know how they're doing this track day special version of the 650S that I covered the past couple of weeks. And there's more details on it now. Officially, it's going to be called McLaren 675 LT. LT stands for long tail. So this baby's going to be like the old McLaren F1 GTRs and stuff, where it has this long tail, if you remember from way back in the day. Looks amazing, and so I'm really hoping they work their same magic, in a modern take here with this new McLaren 675 LT. My guess, 675 horsepower, since the horsepower seems to coincide with the name normally, although some people have said it would have 666 horsepower, which, is kind of a funny amount to have. But yeah, they said it's going to lose like 220 pounds over a 650S. So, it's going to be an insane performer for sure. And they said it'll slot right beneath the P1. And so it won't outdo the P1, of course, but it will be a pretty insane performer. So, excited to see that. That's also going to be debuting at Geneva. And so lots of cool cars lined up for Geneva. Another car that's lined up to debut in Geneva is the production version of the new Honda Civic Type R, which, again, might or might not be coming to America. Probably won't is my bet, but they said it will be debuting the production final version in Geneva. But in regards to the whole Type R, because I know a lot of you have been mentioning that, and you're very interested in the news on the Type R. I am too. It's going to be amazing if it comes here. So Jalopnik posted up that this past week there was a New Jersey dealership they've made 2 posts already on Facebook or something saying, oh, the new Civic Type R is coming February 2nd or February 3rd, which one is really soon and wouldn't coincide with the fact that they want to debut the car at Geneva. So part of me already thinks that this dealership is off, because how are they going to debut the car before the official debut at Geneva? I don't see that happening, but that's what they're saying. Again, I really think this is BS. Dealerships very rarely have cutting-edge news, and they don't really get it right. There's been many more examples of dealerships getting it wrong, actually, in the past. So I would definitely not hold my breath for the Type R to come to America or be debuted on February 3rd. But we'll see what this dealership unveils on February 3rd, if anything at all. For some more credible leaks, a Ford executive has revealed that the new Ford F-150 Raptor is going to have 450 horsepower. Now remember, it's the twin-turbo EcoBoost V6, no more V8, which has a lot of people upset, I know, but the previous V8 Raptor only had 424 horsepower, they said. So this is 26 more horsepower, and I'm sure it's going to have gobs more torque. And, with these EcoBoost motors especially, you plug in a tuner, that baby will probably have 600 pounds-feet of torque at least once you reflash it. So going to be a beast of a performer and be better than the previous Raptor in every way. Maybe aside from sound, but in every other way, it'll be amazing. So, and other Ford news, you know, the other car that debuted back at Detroit that we saw for the first time was the Ford, the Shelby GT350R Mustang. And there's a new report out this week, and this isn't confirmed, but what we're hearing is that it's set a Nürburgring lap time of 7 minutes 32.19 seconds. So, to put that in perspective, that's 5 seconds faster than the awesome Camaro Z28. Which, I mean, is possible, I suppose, but that's pretty impressive. I mean, they're saying that that time makes this faster around the Nürburgring than a Ferrari 458 Italia and puts it right around where the Nissan GTRs have been. Not the fastest GTR time, but one of the times that the GTR has clocked officially at the Nürburgring. So, we still don't know any specifics as far as performance for the Shelby. It's just that it'll have over 500 horsepower. I've heard something in the neighborhood of 550 to 560. So it might not be on the low end of 500. It could be on the higher end there, and you certainly need a lot of power to get around in 7 minutes and 32 seconds. So it's going to be impressive to see, if that's official and all the numbers once they come out. But very exciting lap time at least. Now for some more mundane news. First is there's a report here saying that Mini is going to be making a new mini car called the Mini Minor, and it's going to be co-developed with Toyota. So you know how BMW and Toyota have this big partnership to make the new Supra, and BMW is going to get the new Z4 out of that whole deal, and they're working on a few other things as well. And they're saying they're now working on this. It's going to be probably a little front-wheel drive hatchback. Toyota knows how to make that kind of stuff very well, and so does Mini. So it'll be a very good partnership. Not sure what Toyota would get out of the deal, but there will be a new Mini Minor that would be developed, and so this is what they're going for. Not sure when it'd be debuting, but they said the styling would be based on the Rocket Man concept that we saw at the Geneva Motor Show. So cool to see that. And some other BMW news, there's been several spy mules of the BMW M5 with all-wheel drive being out testing, and considering that the M5 is nearing the end of its life cycle here, this may just be for the next generation M5, although they're testing it on a current generation M5. Could be on the current gen, they're just going to reveal it next year or something, I don't know. But it's definitely apparent that there are all-wheel drive BMW M5s running around, which is no surprise considering Mercedes has moved all their AMG models to all-wheel drive here in America, and of course Audi's been all-wheel drive forever. So, but yeah, makes a whole lot of sense, although hopefully they'll keep rear-wheel drive an option, because I know Mercedes, you kind of lost the rear-wheel drive option in a lot of their cars, the AMG models. So hopefully you can still have a rear-wheel drive one and just have all-wheel drive as an option. And for some more unconventional news, there's a report here, and we've heard talks about this for a while, but there's a new report here saying that all Porsche 911s will be turbocharged except for the GT3 and the GT3 RS starting this upcoming year. So, this will be happening very soon. I'm not sure. I'm assuming either at Geneva or Frankfurt this year we'll see all the new updated 911s and all the new turbocharging engines and all that kind of stuff. But they're saying they're going to be all turbo, which, is good for tuners and stuff because you'll be able to make any 911 now pretty quick with an ECU reflash and all that good stuff. But, kind of crazy, hopefully they won't lose the sound because a lot of people prefer the standard 911 Carrera flat 6 sound over the turbo 911 sound. I actually am one of those people. I think the standard 911 actually sounds better than the turbos. So I'm hoping that with this turbocharging, they still keep some kind of that distinctive exhaust note that you get on the standard 911s, because that would definitely be missed if they lose that. So it's interesting to hear that news, but it makes sense, from fuel emission standard and stuff like that. Sadly, that's the way everyone's going, and so it's just the way it is. In other Porsche news, there's a new next-gen version of the Panamera that was spied testing in the snow. And I'm not sure if this is actually next-gen or if this is just another update of the Panamera, because it looks exactly like the previous, the current generation Panamera, except it has some tweaked headlights and a slightly tweaked front bumper. So I don't know if it's just another refresh on the Panamera until the whole new one comes out, or if this is just a test mule and they'll be modifying a lot of stuff later on. But yeah, so Panamera in the works, and another car that was spied out testing was the new Mercedes C-Class Coupe. So we don't have a coupe yet, it's just the sedan. That coupe, judging by the bodywork, it's really heavily camouflaged in the back there, so kind of hard to see much. But I mean, chances are, since the current C-Class sedan looks a lot like the S-Class, I'm guessing that this C-Class coupe is going to look a whole lot like the S-Class coupe, just be a smaller version. Obviously not quite as blingy, but still pretty elegant, which would make that a winner in my book. That's awesome. Now let's just see the AMG version and we're set. For some less exciting news, Mitsubishi has teased the car they're debuting at Geneva. Don't get excited, it's not an Evo or anything, it's just this new, this hybrid crossover concept. It's the PHEV concept, they're calling it. I mean, it looks cool from the teaser images, and I mean, I'm sure it'll be a cool concept. Hopefully those great looks translate over to production as well, but still, it's just a crossover SUV. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Still bitter about there not being any new Evo. And it's more bad news. Nissan there's been a report here saying that their executives aren't interested. They're not really working on the IDX, which is the Scion FRS fighter, the Blade Glider, which is that race car three-wheeled kind of looking thing, and the Infiniti Rouge, which of course is the Q50 high-performance version with the GTR engine. They're not considering any of those anymore. They want to focus on their volume offerings. So they're focusing on the Nissan Sentras and Nissan Altimas and all that other stuff that, I mean, is very essential to their company, but for us enthusiasts is, no one is interested in that kind of stuff. This is all the stuff we were looking forward to from Nissan, aside from the GTR, which I'm hoping is still on track. But, it'd be awesome. It would have been so awesome to see all three of these cars come to market, and it sounds like they're not going to, at least not for a while. So, really sucks. I mean, but hey, Toyota, Scion, Subaru, run with it. Make better versions of the BRZ and FRS that are turbocharged that everyone wants, because there's no one coming out of the competitors still. So you have the whole market. Run with it. The last news story is that a GMC is talking with their dealerships about a possible Jeep Wrangler competitor. Because of the low gas prices here in America, everyone wants to go out and buy gas guzzlers again. I think GM actually said they're considering reviving the Hummer brand again, because even though we've only had low gas prices for 6 months, everyone forgets how high gas prices were, and so everyone's like, hey, let's go out and buy our gas guzzlers again. That's America for you. So anyway, apparently everyone wants large SUVs again, and the Jeep Wranglers and all the Jeep products are selling like hotcakes. Not just because, they're somewhat gas-guzzling cars, but just because of, I guess, Jeep is really on a hot streak. Everyone loves the brand. They are a very cool brand, and so everyone wants to be Jeep right now as far as crossovers are concerned. And so GMC is working on a Jeep Wrangler competitor, apparently. No word as to when we'll actually see it or if it'll even happen, but yeah, look for something cool like that from GMC maybe at one of the future auto shows. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So I'll send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. Lots of wheel spin with the wet roads. But it grips and goes. Oh man. Good car. Very good car. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.